forward.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll also just go now to Paris, where we're just mere hours away from that highly anticipated Rugby World Cup final between the All Blacks and the Springboks. Now, it's the first time since 1995 that the two old rivals will come face to face in a final. And our reporter Justin Ford is in Paris, and he told me not too long ago that he's just outside the Springboks hotel in Paris as they wait for the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to arrive at the team's hotel. And he also reckons that the Boks will be able to take the Webb Ellis Trophy back home. Justin, thank you very much for joining us. Let's start here. Tell me what the streets of Paris are like on the morning of a Rugby World Cup final.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sako. I think just for the record, you and I had an off-the-record conversation, so please do not bring that on air to say that we will lift this trophy. With that being said, there is a certain buzz currently in Paris, as we are mere hours away from that Rugby World Cup final at the Stade de France. We are situated, as you mentioned, just outside the Springbok Hotel. They are on a lovely golf estate where they found themselves spending the better part when they are not training. This is where they've been living along with their families as well. The President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to arrive, hence why we actually just situated ourselves outside, hoping that he arrives while we are on air with you. But definitely a certain strong vibe in Paris at the moment ahead of that match. Still loads of fans from other countries. This morning, heading out of our hotel, we saw a gentleman wearing an Irish jersey. So some English fans there yesterday as well, notably with the third and fourth place playoff. Some Australians I managed to see yesterday as well. So rugby fever is still high here in Paris.
Yeah, and maybe let's just zoom into this camp. I mean, you would have been outside of the hotel, hopefully caught a glimpse of some of these guys. What will their nerves be like? I can tell you for a fact that there's a lot of excitement, but also some nerves back here home in South Africa. And we would have also seen yesterday those pictures of, the injured players in Umakazole Mapimpi as well as Malcolm Marx arriving to, bolster the team ahead of this big final.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did manage to get inside the hotel a bit earlier on before we moved out. And there seems to be a certain level of calmness amongst the players. Andre Esterhuizen not in the team this evening. Vali Leroux is playing Chesnan Colby. Guys just sitting in the hotel reception, just really getting themselves ready for this evening's clash. Notably only a 9 p.m. kickoff this evening, so it's a long day for these players to keep themselves focused. So sometimes, just a slight distraction is also welcomed, and I think that's what's important. But I think just before we go anywhere else, to bring it back to the President's visit here at the hotel. We saw Zizi Kodwa, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, meet with them yesterday. But I think a president meeting the Springboks really is such an iconic picture. We go back to 1995 when the Springboks lifted that trophy. We saw the late President Nelson Mandela speak to the nation, lift that trophy along with Francois Pienaar. We saw that in 2007. When President Mbeki had hoisted the trophy with John Smith. President Cyril Ramaphosa was in Japan for 2019 when the Springboks won that trophy as well. So I think a president meeting, a team, and at least the Springbok team, really is an iconic moment. I think this team understands that the hopes of 62 million South Africans rests on their shoulders, and I think Siya Kolisi, he's definitely that man that speaks about that often enough, understanding that not everybody has access to watch the Springboks play, but they will make a plan, whether it is to go to a local mall or to a friend or a family member who does have access to watch the game. It really has united the nation, and yes, they're hoping that this evening is a favourable result and it continues to give South Africans hope, in what is obviously a very difficult time. But with that being said, next year we celebrate 30 years of democracy, and how better to do that as the Rugby World Cup champions for a historic fourth time.
Yeah, and you know, when you speak of the different presidents, one can't help but think of that number 6 jersey and how iconic it has been in South Africa lifting the Rugby World Cup trophy. I mean, it happened back in 1995 with Francois Pienaar, and then it happens again in 2019, and hopefully again, Justin, in 2023. But you speak about the South Africans that are in France. Just tell me, what have they been saying to you? I mean, we've seen the videos going all around with the Guijo squad meeting some of the players there and singing with them. The South Africans in France, what sense are you getting from them about tonight?
There definitely is a balance between excitement and nervousness, without a doubt. As you mentioned in your introduction, you know, playing the All Blacks is no easy feat. It's a history that dates back to 105 matches that have been played thus far between the two nations. You know, call them our biggest rivals, the old foes, if you may. So the match in itself brings with a certain level of nervousness, but the Springboks will have to be confident. They cannot go into this match, you know, not feeling confident. And when it comes to the fans, they definitely are excited to be able to be here. I've seen many green jerseys around Paris. Travelled by the train yesterday. Couples of 10 or at least 5 groups, 5 couples, all in their own makeshift Springbok jackets, are really just keen to be able to show their support for the Boks. So nervous but excited, and the hope is that they will be extremely happy this evening, just after 11 p.m.
All right, thank you so much, Justin. I'll let you go now, and hopefully we will be able to catch the president's arrival when he does arrive at the team hotel.